Welcome to
Off the Press from Woodward News.
another episode coming to you again. I'm not here, so this Friday, so we're doing it a little early and taping it again this time.
So you're going to get it live pretty soon when we feel a little more comfortable with this whole process. But we wanted to talk a little bit about what has happened over the week and sort of some of the stories that we covered so that you can get a little brief on what we have covered and what's coming up.
Right, so there's a lot coming up.
There
and
is
definitely a whole lot coming up next weekend for sure, with all the spooktaculars and pumpkin drops and races and this and that.
Haunt the
you
lot.
guys
did
all
a
that stuff.
fun video.
We did. It was so much fun to do that. And if you haven't seen it, go to the Woodward News Facebook page and check us out because we did a fun little ghost spoof, if you will, to Haunt the Lot. So it was a lot of fun. They let us come and have a little fun with them for that day. It was a lot of fun. So,
well, we've got holidays coming up, October 25th, 26th, and 27th.
yes.
And there are some new companies there and new food vendors.
There are, and we just did. So there will be a map this year. We did do a map.
Yes.
We did a map.
Yeah.
With the vendors on it, and it will have like a lot. I think there was like over 197 booths total. Some are combined, but overall, I mean, that was just in the main entrance. So I don't know anything. I didn't count how many were in the art exhibit room.
That's a lot. I didn't know
there was a
were
lot,
that many.
and there was outside too. So this is huge.
I actually maybe misunderstood him because I thought he said 150.
Well, when you put them all together, I drew out blocks for about 197 spots. Just in the main entry area. So
well, it's going to be a pretty good
yeah,
show, I think,
for
this
sure.
year. And Roland Boyle, which is a really fun food vendor, they're very popular. They're going to be showing up. So, but there's another one, and it's just not coming to me. But Mr. Yetis is going to be there.
Oh yeah.
And then there is going to be a couple of new businesses. There's a equipment rental person that's new here in Woodward, over on East Woodward.
Okay.
And he's going to be there. And then there is a company that turns like these old whiskey barrels into all kinds of different furniture. And so I'm really,
that's pretty cool.
I may just have to go, that's my kind of thing. So I may just have to go see it. So anyway, also I covered this week high school seniors that are interested in attending Northwestern Oklahoma State University are invited to the Ranger Review. And it's just kind of an opportunity for them to meet the professors and instructors and also go around and learn about the dorm life and just get a feel for the campus. And that is happening
November 16th at 10:30 at the Alpha campus, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you go online, there is a link on the Northwestern Oklahoma State University website to where you can register. They do tell you to go ahead and register early because they get a lot of people that want to come to that.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that's going to be. I mean, obviously, we're big Northwestern fans
Yes.
as well. That so.
So November 2nd, we have Day of the Dead, and this is a wonderful edition of a traditional cultural event that will take place in Woodward. And it is
For Hispanic Heritage Month.
Hispanic
Yes.
Heritage Month.
Yes.
And I just love the concept. It was developed to come here to Woodward. It was developed by Woodward Tourism Director Megan Johnston. And I'm so excited to see it. I'm so excited to see some cultural events coming to Woodward. Very, very good.
And I think we hope to have
Good
her
idea.
and then be a part of, like, just pop in and
Yes,
visit with
I
us
would
about
love to-
that.
I would
'Cause that
love
would
to
be
hear
actually
that.
fantastic to do.
Super job.
And also, just so everybody knows, we had an English version of the story
Yes.
in our Tuesday paper, but we also had it translated into Spanish by Kevin Robles. And I'm not sure I'm saying that right. I'm so sorry if I am not. Anyways, and he did a fantastic job of translating that for us into Spanish so that it helps be read by both communities.
And that's something that we've been
Yeah.
thinking about too. We're toying with the idea. It's kind of a challenge because none of us speak or read Spanish.
Yeah.
And so when we're editing the paper, but we are really
Yeah.
wanting to do a few more stories in Spanish. It won't be a whole lot initially, but we're hoping you're going to get to see some more of that kind of thing coming in our
We definitely
papers.
want to expand what we bring to the community as far as the newspaper goes.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk a little bit. There's a couple of state questions that are on the ballot that are coming up in November, and that's coming up sooner than you think. It's just going to slip right up on us. And one of them is State Question 834, and that is going to be just a slight change in the wording of the election law, which right now says all U.S. citizens can vote, and they want to change that to only U.S. citizens can vote. And I'm not sure that there is a whole lot of difference, except that in some municipal areas, and I researched this, in some municipalities and cities throughout Oklahoma, some areas allow non-citizens who are legal residents in that city to vote in some certain elections because it affects those people who live there. And there is a move to remove that capacity. So that is one state question that voters will be voting. So a yes vote for that state question would indeed limit all elections to only United States citizens. A no vote would leave that open to municipalities if they wanted to go ahead and include residents that are legal residents. Also, State Question 833 is a curious little nugget. I had to do quite a bit of research on it, and it allows districts within a municipality to create almost their own little tax district. And what they would want to do in that tax district would be possibly gather together to say, hey, we want some more sidewalks, or we want a park, or we want better sewage, or whatever. And those districts can vote to tax themselves. Every single person living in that district or owning property in that district has to vote yes to do this. And then they can tax themselves on top of the existing tax, existing property tax, to get these things done.
Wow.
I did a lot of research on this, and really it depends on the power that these districts are given to determine what kinds of things they want, how much of a tax. Mm-hmm. But it really it's a little like an HOA, but an HOA does not have the power. It has the power on the front end to charge you a fee.
Yes.
And then you already know the rules ahead of time. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't have the power for a group to come together and say, we want to tax ourselves to have better streets,
right,
or we want to tax ourselves to have better sewerage, or whatever it is they want. I think it gives them really more broad power to create a neighborhood they want to live in.
They want their kids raised in.
And it also is, I would think, from a municipality standpoint, I would think that it would be a really positive thing within the city, because the city would be getting bolstered areas that improve the quality of life here. So I can't see a negative, but I always wonder about anybody who can tax me. So
I know when we moved into our neighborhood back in the day, it was called the Doctor neighborhood, on 18th anyways, and they had wooden shingles. And so when we moved in back in 2003, I think, there was like, everybody still had to have the wooden shingles. And I'm like, okay. Anyway, so eventually we were able to get rid of that, but I guess that was like a mandate in that neighborhood at the time, which is interesting.
How far did that neighborhood go?
It's pretty much all the way from the the main Oklahoma highway, all the way down to Cedar. So pretty much in that whole neighborhood,
just
right there.
In that 18th and 19th Street, or
I only knew about 18th because that's where I moved on to. And anyways, and so I thought that was odd that we had wooden shingles, which then we had to replace and had to buy the decking.
Yeah,
which is interesting. So
they're like HOAs, but I don't see anything in this that suggests that people would be required to keep
certain things or paint.
Exactly.
I've seen some home.
I don't see that. Yeah. I think it gives them the power to go ahead and say, we want to have better sidewalks, more sidewalks, whatever it is.
Playground or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, the last thing I kind of wanted to remind everybody about was the veterans. I have failed to mention this last time. There is a veteran breakfast on the second Saturday of every month at the VFW on Main and 8th Street here in Woodward. And it's really a project that has been supported by the VFW and several other American Legion, because there are still over 22 veterans a day that are suiciding. And that's just not okay. And so this gives veterans an opportunity to just get together in a really informal setting and have a meal and just visit with each other. And I think it's great.
We
We're veterans.
love veterans. And also the banners downtown. I think that's fantastic.
Oh, the banners, I love them.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I mean, it really just stands out and shows, people love and support them in all kind of capacities and that kind of thing. So, but also United Chili Noodle Supper changed from the 14th
To the 28th.
to the 28th.
Yes.
So we're just reminding everybody of that too.
And also, and I'm just now, this is from memory, also on the 28th, and I'm not sure, but look it up. It's on Facebook. There is a run.
There is. I didn't bring my phone in here, but it is called the Spooky. It's cross country.
Yes.
Is doing it, and they're having like a 1 mile candy run. I think.
Yeah, I think it's
and then they
really
have,
fun.
and then they are having the 5K.
Did you see where it was? Was it out at the?
I did not catch that, but I know Sarah, our coworker, is doing the 5K. I'm thinking about doing the 1.
Yeah.
But there's also, like I said, the United Chili Supper as well, happening the same night.
Yeah. So there's
so upcoming though, next weekend though, we
Right.
have, oh my goodness, we have so much. We
have the
Thursday
Main
is
Street
the Main
pumpkin,
Street
the pumpkin
and
drop.
trick or treat.
Yes,
and
and that
everything's
is always a
happening.
huge event, and just keeps the pumpkins just keep getting bigger, and they always just thrill the kids. And the pumpkin drop, and the Pumpkin King Brian Baker is going to be there, and
That's always a lot of fun. Kids
Yes.
love that. I don't know if they're doing anything different with the pumpkin this year. I hadn't heard, but I'm thinking they might be.
They think about every year
Different
trying to
Yeah.
put things in the pumpkin, and they worry about, because the first year we did it, the pumpkin came down, and I mean, the second the pumpkin dropped, all these kids ran in to get candy because we put candy in.
Crazy.
And so that was a little scary for us.
was.
And so everybody decided that it was probably best if we, held off on the candy. It's just one of those things. But I don't. They do something different every year.
Well, and I think the conference center has a couple of cool things happening too, because I believe this Sunday
Yes.
is the wedding expo.
Is the wedding.
So if you're looking to get hitched or whatever, or just want information.
And the Wedding Expo and Bridal Fair is
Yeah.
a great one-stop shop.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of people, they go all the way to Oklahoma City to have all of these services, when really there is every service you could want.
I talked to Darcy
That's right
yesterday at the chamber luncheon, and that's what she was saying. She said that they had some good vendors coming in from around the area. So I definitely try to hit that up if you guys are interested in
Oh,
any of
absolutely.
that. Or just to go, hey, just to
I was going to
have a girl day. Go
Yeah.
and check it out. I always like to look at stuff. So
I was going to take a few photos.
Yeah.
So, and then don't forget, we're still out there at the Screen Park at
yes, Nightmare in the Country.
Nightmare in the
Yeah.
Country Screen.
That's still happening.
Why in
Yeah.
the world?
I
I was thinking about the car.
I think she's
Just
fixing
went
to go.
straight out of my
So
head.
the ticket to Nelma from our last video, she's going. I'm out of town. She's going, and she's gonna tell me about it when she gets back. But anyways, I think it'll be a blast. And then there's the Mummy and Me is that Friday night, next Friday night. It's also homecoming. There's also homecoming parade. There's also the fall holidays. There's also, it's so much happening.
There is a lot.
Anyways, and I don't know which one I'm gonna try to be at everything, I'm sure. But there's the Mummy and Me. I wish that was called Grandmummy and Me.
Oh, yeah.
Grandmummy and Me, and but I could still go. I know.
I
But I still think it'll be fun.
I definitely need to start calling myself Grandma. I've seen some pictures lately, so I'm starting to look more like that.
And then of course the Larry K.
The Scary
Yes.
K Hill
And
event,
Red
and the Red Prairie, Red Plains,
Horror Stories.
Film Festival.
Yes.
A horror film festival.
Yes.
And that is fun. Last year, it actually had quite a few people come last year,
Mhm.
and they enjoyed the films. And I've already seen a
They're
few
growing.
of the films. They're super fun. So that's when's that? That is
The 26th.
The 26th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So over there at Larry Cahill Studios, and they set up everything. I think the weather is going to be perfect for it. So
And haunt the lot
plan
on the
that.
31st.
And haunt the lot on the 31st.
Oh, and I was told this too, that the Woodward Assisted Living Center is also going to be doing candy as well.
Oh.
If anybody wants to stop in and see the seniors, that would be fantastic.
They
I
would
believe
love
Providence
that.
Place also might be doing that, but I'm not sure. I will find out about that. Anyways, but they love for people to come in. So if you have a chance, stop in because they like to hand out the
They
candy.
do. They really do. There were some children today.
Yeah.
I went to an event today for Frankie Evans, who's a Navy guy who got an award, a really special award for his time in Korea.
Oh.
So I'll be writing a story about that.
So
That will be next week. And then, of
sweet.
course, kind of the last thing,
Yeah.
I covered the in a real light way, but I covered the funeral for world-renowned custom bike builder Jerry Covington.
Yeah.
Very, very terrible loss for his family, of course, and also for Woodward.
Absolutely. Just so many awesome motorcycles that he's done.
Oh my
and
goodness,
just been,
yes.
a big part of that industry.
All over the world.
Yeah,
Has sold them all over the
yeah.
world. So.
For sure. Anyhow, I think that's pretty much a good wrap up.
That
There's
is.
a lot happening, y'all. So
There
if you
is.
never say there's nothing happening in Woodward, because there is always something happening in Woodward for sure. Anyway, so I guess if we're done,
Yes, we are. So it's
off
off the
with the
press.
press.